Good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. It's good to see a bunch of our scouts here with us today. So thank you for joining us. Again, a reminder for cell phones, if we can get those turned off or put on vibrate, that would be good. This is the May 28th, 2024 Hardin County Fiscal Court regular voting meeting. And let's begin and call this meeting to order. And we have the roll call, please.
Squire Clem. Here. Squire Hicks.
Here.
Squire Muse.
Here.
Squire Pennington.
Here.
Squire Saltzman.
Here.
Squire Thompson.
Here.
Squire Whitehead.
Here.
Squire Yates.
Here.
Judge Tall.
Here. Next is our invocation by Magistrate Pennington and the Pledge of Allegiance by Magistrate Hicks.
Please bow your heads with me. Father God, we just thank you for today. We just thank you for this beautiful weather. And Father, we continue to thank you for those that are serving our country. And Father, we just ask that as we conduct business today, that we would just do it in your light. And Father, we just be stewards of your money and of your words, Father. We just ask that from this past Memorial Day, Father, that we continue each and every day to remember those that have sacrificed for our country and for our freedoms and for our abilities to vote, and Father, and just for our abilities to be able to enjoy a good weekend. Father, I just ask you now just to bless us today, bless us making decisions. In your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, well, thanks again, everyone, for joining today. Just a quick review of the agenda. It's a fairly simple agenda today. We'll approve the minutes from the last meeting. We have a guest today that will go over an economic development update. Andy Gaines will do that for us. And then we have some presentations from different departments and offices, and some written reports are also part of the packet. We'll have an opportunity for any citizens' concerns or comments, and we don't have any specific ordinances or resolutions today to vote on, but we do have a fairly large consent agenda, and I'll go through and review all of those items when the time comes. And then we'll wrap up with some comments, and then we'll adjourn. Okay, so that's basically the agenda that we have ahead of us. I did want to just make one note and comment. We just went through a couple of waves of storms recently, and as we're all very aware of, Hardin County, we were fortunate this time not to have a whole lot of damage. There may be obviously some individuals that would disagree with that, but as far as widespread damage and property damage, we were pretty fortunate compared to some other counties. So, but at any rate, there were a lot of downed trees, a lot of things that were going on at one time, and when that happens, it stretches our resources in 911 especially, and just want to kind of send out a big thank you to our first responders, 911, our ambulance service, fire service in the county, our road department that responds to trying to move trees and such, our sheriff's department that responds. All of these people are servants. They're out there whenever the rest of us are taking shelter. They're out there receiving phone calls and trying to respond and get people out to those folks that need it as quickly as possible. So just again, just a shout out to them. Just want to thank all of you for what you do, and I do appreciate it very much. And I know Fiscal Court does too. So just thank you. Next on our agenda is to approve the Hardin County Fiscal Court May 14th, 2024 minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, I heard Patsy first. And second?
Second.
Okay, Aaron Pennington, second. Any discussion? Yeah, hearing none, we'll have roll call.
Squire Clem.
Yes.
Squire Hicks.
Yes.
Squire Muse.
Yes.
Squire Pennington.
Yes.
Squire Saltzman.
Yes.
Squire Thompson.
Yes.
Squire Whitehead.
Yes.
Squire Yates.
Yes.
Judge Tall.
Yes, motion passes. All right, next on the agenda, I'm very thankful that President of the Elizabethtown Hardin County Industrial Foundation, Andy Games, is here today and is going to present us with an economic development update, and I'll turn it over to him.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you, Judge, and welcome to all of you all. Thanks for having me. My name is Andy Gaines. I'm the current president and COO of the Elizabethtown Hardin County Industrial Foundation. It's an honor to speak with you today, and I appreciate you inviting me in, and Judge Tall serving on our board. We have monthly meetings, so I see him most every month, so it's
Maybe
a pleasure
too
having.
often, is that what
Yeah,
you're
maybe
saying?
somewhat too
Yeah,
often. No, I'm
that's what
just
I was
kidding. No, just wanted to give you a little quick update on what kind of happened last year and what's been going on. I've been there since October of 2021. So 2 months after Blue Oval SK announced that they were coming to town. So as you can imagine, and you all have seen, a lot of things have happened since 2021 and starting in 2022. So just a quick recap of what kind of went on last year. This will work. There we go. We did an economic study, the chamber with some partners here, Baptist Health and ourselves and a couple others. We did a economic development study, and you all probably saw that when it came out. But you know, we're expecting somewhere between 22 to 25,000 residents in the city, and probably another 22 to 25,000 in the county, I would say, by 2030. This will be the 10th largest manufacturing facility in the world by square footage. 2 plants at 4.2 million square feet apiece, 3.63 billion in direct payroll from 26 to 35. As you all see in town here locally and probably out in the county, I see it some too. There's lots of housing going on. 8,800 new housing units that they say we need. I think if you talk to the city, they've got over 4,000 units approved, and we're in somewhere stages of either being built or opening or under construction. So quite a bit of that going on, and maybe an anticipated growth of around 4,000 new K through 12 students. So as we see at Central Hardin with a large renovation going on, I think our school systems are doing a great job of staying ahead of the curve and have been ahead of the curve. So that's good to see. But just Bosque itself, you know, that large announcement, but right after that in 22, we had 3 projects that came on board here locally within the county and within the city. There's about $800 million worth of investment going on North Black Branch Road. Between the Lotte Aluminum, which is going to be a Korean supplier for the battery, A&P Intertech, who is another Korean supplier, and then of course Whiskey House of Kentucky, which will be the distillery. So the distilling operation, Whiskey House of Kentucky, they will produce spirit July 1. They are currently working out of our office and have been since March. We have hosted all 3 of these new companies, well, all 4 of them just about. We had Blue Oval SK for almost 2 years in our office. That was their first home. And then they left, and we had Lotte for about 3 months, and now we currently have whiskey in our office for about 6. So they will be producing spirit, 7 million gallons of spirit starting July 1. That's phase 1. Phase 2 would be producing 14 million by 2027. You'll see some pictures here in just a little while, but they are a great team. They're wonderful. They're going to be a wonderful partner for us in our county to have our first true distilling operation here going on. So there's 1 rick house currently under construction. The second one is getting ready to start coming out of the ground. They'll have 16 rick houses on property there with the facility. Workforce and education, the training center, Blue Oval SK and the ECTC, Blue Oval SK Training Center, came on board. We opened it, well, it will open Monday for its first time. Well, they'll actually have students in it, but we had a groundbreaking with the governor there about 3 weeks ago. Beautiful facility. If you haven't been down Gideon Church Road, there's a beautiful facility there by the CSX Railroad, and they will be doing all of their training that they're currently doing at East Hardin and at the college. And when I do speak in front of people, I like to say Dr. Pate's been an amazing partner for us here locally. They have been housing all of their training at the college since day one. So big props to Dr. Pate and all that he's done there. I can't take credit for this. Rick, my father, he came up with this idea in late 22, but we created a new website under the foundation called madehereelizabethtown.com. Basically, it gives you a comprehensive look at various career opportunities within our local manufacturing sector and promotes our region as an exceptional place to live, work, and play. So if you get a chance, explore that website. We are upgrading it as we go. It's kind of been a build-in process, but you can, if you've got somebody new that's wanting to see what our area looks like, they can go there, they can look up schools, they can look up jobs, they can look up housing, they can compare housing rates where they're coming from to what they are here. But it's basically a comprehensive website, all about Hardin County, all about Elizabethtown, all about what's going on here. Great. So if you do get a chance, we've been promoting that over about the last 6 or 8 months. You may have seen the Elizabethtown Lifestyle magazine. That was what that magazine basically hit on, was Made Here Elizabethtown. So, but it features a lot of good things that's going on here locally and in the county as well. So if you get a chance, visit that. We'll skip through that.
As a place that offers a...
We'll skip through that. Facility managers meetings, we do host those every month. Judge Tall has been to quite a few of those, so he comes and gets to see some different speakers, but then he also gets to interact with some of our local manufacturers and plant managers. But we've been back, it kind of fell out during COVID, but since about 2022, we've been back we do 7 or 8 of those a year. Very good participation, and we've done some facility tours and different things like that. So those are going well. We did start something last October for Manufacturing Month. I got an idea from another one of our partners in Henderson Economic Development, but we invited our school systems to take part and take students into facilities to show them what's actually going on within the manufacturing facility. So we had a lot of partners that partnered with county schools, city schools, and Meade County schools. They went into, took tours. You'll actually see the kid on the bottom of the screen there on the bottom left with a VR headset on. Those are middle schoolers. So we had Heartland Communications had gone in and actually done VR tours in 2 or 3 factories. So when they went to the middle schoolers can actually put on a VR headset and walk through the factory and see what's going on virtually. So put this headset on and they're basically inside of Kruger Manufacturing watching boxes being made, watching the corrugator work or whatever. So they had a ball with that. So we're getting ready to have another planning meeting, and hopefully that will grow, which we feel like it is, because Fort Knox has already reached out to us and they want to be involved this year as well and get their students. But it's been a very good experience for the students that may not be wanting to go to college, they're not going to college, or they're going to ECTC to get some degrees, and they're starting to figure out, hey, there's lots of opportunities where I don't have to spend a lot of money and I can get my education paid for. So it's been a really good eye-opening thing for me, but for our students as well. So get through
In
this
class
video too. All right, Akabono, as you all saw late last year, they announced that they were going to close. They will be closing December of 2025. We have met with them. We have discussed their building and their property. They have to be open by contract for all the automotive industry through December of 2025. So when December is over, they will be closing. They've got around 600 employees that will still be there working, and they've incentivized those guys to stay. Some of them have left, but we are working with them currently in letting them know that between ourselves and the State Economic Development Cabinet, we would love to showcase their building, because we feel that we can find somebody to either take it off of their hands and help them promote it to where they can get rid of it if that's what they're choosing to do. So we have met with them. We've met with multiple people, and they are in constant communication with us to make that go as smoothly as possible. But I told somebody, I said it was a story on Friday of a plant closing and losing 600 jobs from a company that's been here since 1986, and it may have been the quietest plant closure ever. So on Monday, it was kind of passed, and we assured everybody that there are plenty of jobs out there and everybody's looking. So I've talked to some of those people that are there. I've told them there's ways that you can plan this out to where you can let somebody know, go ahead and get in their system, and you may be able to go right to work on January 1st if you're done there in December. So we're staying in touch with them and helping those people as we go as well. Just some photos to share with you. This is the Lotte aluminum plant, and I say aluminum because in Korea you evidently put an extra I in aluminum, so we learned that too along this way. But you'll see there on that photo, their admin building is on the left. That's open. They have been in that since March the 1st. Phase 1 of the building on the right is on the left side of that big building. That will hopefully start running some test product late this year, and they will be fully operational on the same timeline as Blue Oval SK, which will be third quarter of 2025. This is the other side of that building. It's 2 floors. There's a floor, 2 floors, and there's about 6 of those yellow cranes that you see that will be running through that building, moving aluminum in and out. But they were our first, that was actually the first project that I worked once I got hired, and I'll just be honest with you, the Korean people have been wonderful to work with. If you saw the Elizabethtown Lifestyle magazine, Alex Chang is the chairman of Lotte. He was on the front cover there with us. He's been he's been a great guy. They love Elizabethtown and they love Hardin County, so they're excited to be here and to get started. So great addition to the park. This is Whiskey House. Like I say, that's what we talked about. They are producing product July 1, and I've got told that many, many times in the last 2 weeks. Yes, will be running spirits. So the Rick House is there on the back left of that photo. So there'll be 16 spread out around that ground behind us, and 176 acres. AMP Intertech, the other Korean supplier. This building went up in about 7.5 months, but they were our second supplier. Providing a material for Blue Oval SK, but another great partner and another great facility that's located here. And there's Blue Oval. That is Plant 1. It's 0.6 miles long from the south end, which is at the top of the photo, to the north end here on the near. The process starts on the top and works towards the north, so it works from south to north, but that is 0.6 miles long. I went in the building about a month ago, not the first section, the second section, and if you get into the very middle of it, you can stand and look all the way down and you can't see the end. The pictures don't do it justice. It's very, very large when you get to the facility, but Plant 2 will be enclosed by the end of October of this year, and then it will come online as needed over probably from like 26, 27. And then be up fully running by 2030. That's the report that we have today. But Plant 1 is fully operational quarter 3 of 2025, and they're already doing some things, trying to work out kinks and equipment. There's 9,000 shipping containers on site with equipment from Korea. So probably somewhere around 4,500 employees there currently. I think they peaked out at about 6,000 on site. So just an enormous facility. That is an overview of the whole site. So that's the training center. There on the bottom, you'll see the facility at the top. And then if you look over to the left, that'll be the new KU's new 50-acre substation that they built, who has been another wonderful partner through this whole process too. So many thanks to LG&E KU for what they did to provide power to those factories. So I think that's it that I have. If anybody has any questions, I'll be more than happy to try to answer those. If not, I just appreciate you having me. So, any questions?
Andy, the Plant 2, did you say anticipated to be fully operational by 2030?
By 2030, and if you will remember, when they announced the project in August of 21, they made the comment, we will be operational and ramp up Plant 1 and Plant 2 from the time we open in 2025 through 2030. Somewhere in the middle of all the construction and everything got the accelerator pushed down, everything was going to open by 2026. So when we got that economic development study, there was a lot of those numbers in there that projected things that you were going to have some things by 2026. Then that accelerator came off, we hit the brakes a little bit. So we're back to what the original plan was in 2025. So basically ramp up production, 2025, quarter 3, they're going to start production fully, and then the other plant will come online fully operational by 2030. Yeah.
And did you say, Andy, that Plant 2 will be enclosed by October?
Yeah, so when I say
24?
enclosed, it'll be skinned, so they'll have all of its roof, it'll be secured, when they're ready to go back in and complete. And they've
shell.
probably got a lot of it's done inside. When I say done, they've got concrete poured probably through 80% of it, but they're enclosing it all. They'll have some things in there, they're doing some things in there now, but it'll be where it's dried in by the end of October.
So that's basically the shell will
Mm-hmm. The shell will be enclosed, so it won't be standing, when you go by there now, you can still see steel and whatever. No, that'll all be
So
cleaned up.
October
shortly.
of 24.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. More
Any other questions? All right.
Thank you for your work.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Andy. All right, we'll move on then to the next item, department office reports. Our first one up is our EMS, Mark Peterson, our director.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I want to start first by thanking everybody that took the time out last week to come by and see our crews or spoil us with some goodies for EMS week. We had a huge success between a lot of the community partners, elected officials, and other folks that came out and showed their appreciation of our guys, and it really, really meant a lot to them. So thank you all that took the time out of your busy weeks to come by and see the crews. They appreciated it. I have the March and April activity report for EMS, starting with our call data for March. We made 1,428 total responses. Of those total responses, 1,391 were 911 and 37 transfers. As you can see, the transfer numbers are way down, thanks to Baptist Health EMS. Our collection comparison, we collected $527,546 for the month, which puts us above March of 23 collections as well. April call data, a little slower in April. We made 1,258 responses. Of those, 1,225 were 911 and 33 were transfers. But our collections still look good, even though we're not doing all those transfers. We collected $493,061 as compared to the $350,000 from last year. So year-to-date call data, this is kind of interesting to me. Our call volume total is up 255 runs at 15,399, but our 911 runs are up considerably, over 1,000 runs more this year than we were at this point last year in the fiscal year. In year-to-date collections, we have collected $5,314,973,000 compared to the 4.6 from last year. That puts us about $686,000 above where we were this time last year in our collections and receivables, which we're very, very pleased with. This time I'll take any questions.
Mark,
Yes, sir.
March transfers were down 275, April 257, year-to-date 791. You commented, thanks to Baptist Health EMS. Do you mean that in a positive way or?
Well, I mean, it's taken a lot of load off of us, and we had concerns. Judge and I have had many conversations about how that was going to impact our revenue, and we can see that our revenue is not really taking the hit that we thought it might without the transfer.
Well, you
So,
had 1,000 more runs too, calls.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, but no, they've been a blessing. It's I didn't mean that in any
So
derogatory manner.
there's no dollar hit to the county on these transfers?
No, our revenue is not showing any.
Thank you.
It's nice to see those collections up and steadily going up. That's good. You're doing a good job with that. So
Thank
that's
you.
probably balancing out
It
the
is.
transfer
It is.
issue too with
It
the
is.
hospitals.
Yeah, it is, for sure. It's been nice. Anything else?
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Next, 911, Mike Leo, director.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have the activity report from 911 Center for the month of April. I'll get it right in a minute. 911 calls answered, 4,238. 10,196 CAD reports created. Answered 5,787 administrative calls. Dispatched 1,257 EMS runs, 402 fire runs, and handled 2,549 attempt to serve prisoner transport and traffic stop type calls. This here is a breakdown of calls for service by agency for the month of April. We're showing EMS at 31.7%, Radcliffe Police at 28.9%, Sheriff's Office at 19.9%. You will see the remainder of the agencies that we dispatch for and their percentages there in the graph. Fire runs by department, E-Town at 29.7%, Radcliffe at 19.4%. Then the remaining of the fire departments we also dispatch for. You see their percentages there. Calls transferred to secondary sites, a total of 774 transfers. 689 to Elizabethtown Police, and 85 to the Kentucky State Police. That's all I have for my report. Have any questions for me?
You want to talk any about the sirens? Or?
You can ask. We are making our rounds. We've had some citizens reach out to emergency management that some of our sirens weren't working during the storm that happened. I isolated a couple of them with some minor issues, but we are hitting them all, looking at them all. The ones that are in the county technically is responsible. We're going around and looking at, most of them run on batteries, so we're checking the batteries, power levels, and we're just moving some antenna issues we had to move around and make sure they activate. But I'll get an activity report together for the judge and maybe present to y'all what's working, what's not working. Just be aware, something I talked to the judge at the beginning of the year, all the county sirens that we have are pretty much end of life, so they're pretty much break-fix type situations, and I can't really get parts for them. So once they come offline, it'd really be a decision on, where we want to move forward with, adding a new site there or decommissioning where it's at. So technically, this is be Joey Scott's will. This is emergency management stuff. So I'm just kind of stepping on his behalf because I've been out there before and looked at them, kind of know how they work. Me and John Bowen, the buildings and grounds supervisor. So kind of we can keep the batteries up, make sure it has power, and make sure that radio signal's reaching it. So beyond that scope, if anything internal is kind of messed up with them, it's beyond my expertise. We have to actually call tech out to triage, see what it needs. So yeah, we're going making our rounds and making sure that we can get them up and running, and hopefully we won't need them again, but that's the goal right now.
Yeah, just a comment about these. I mean, decisions will have to be made regarding these and whether we're going to continue to, I don't know that relying on them is the right way, because we really don't rely on them now with current technology and our phones and the Brave system and
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, so there's other ways that we communicate now that we didn't, 20, 30, 40 years ago. Sirens make a lot of sense in a heavily populated area, but out in the unincorporated part of the county, we'll have to make a decision whether we're going to invest in a fairly expensive system or maybe move on and just decommission as they stop working and then rely on the systems that we have right now. So we'll get that report pulled together and discuss it at the next opportunity.
So that leads me to Ray. If you're out in the area and you talk to people, the county does pay for a one-call system. Basically, it's attached to the National Weather Service, and it sends you text messages or phone calls of thunderstorm warnings and tornado watches, tornado warnings automatically. These people can sign up to the government website. At the bottom of the page, there's a button that says Ray. They can click on it, sign up for it, they receive text messages. If they have landline phones and want voice to come over, they just need to reach out to me directly. You can give them my email, give them my phone number, they can call me. I can actually set them up in the system so their landline will ring during those same events. That's something that has to be set up manually. But we do offer that service for free to anybody who lives in the county.
And of course, we've also looking at utilization of weather radios also.
Correct. Yeah. Those are very handy too. think everybody here should be on rave. If you're not, come see me.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Next is a report to Detention Center, and I don't think Josh is here, so is this, are you Samantha? Samantha Mitchell. Good evening.
Unfortunately, he couldn't be here, so y'all are stuck with me. Try my best here. Okay, on our intake and release, our lodging income, we had $355,155.87. The intake for the month of April was 512. The release was 513. Our daily average with temp releases was 595, with a total of 545. Our billing, our state was 40% and our county was 60%. Misdemeanor charges, under the influence, 48, assault in the fourth degree, 20, possession of marijuana, 31, violation of a EPO, DVO, 4, non-payment of fines, 20, theft by deception, 1, shoplifting, 4. Felony charges, burglary in the first, second, and third, we had 5. Robbery in the first and second, we had 0. Assault, first, second, and third, 6. Possession of a controlled substance, 56. Flagrant non-support, 6. Trafficking in illegal substances, 14. And we had a total of 85 weekenders. Our inmate hours worked was 10,925. 8,808 of those was for Hardin County, the agencies, and then other agencies was 2,117. And that saved us about $63,858. Our medical runs, outside appointments, we had 19. That was about 36 hours total for those. Emergency room visits, 6. That was about 32 hours. Nurse visits, 944. Medical requests, 1,145. We had 0 hospital admissions, which is a good thing. And inmates on medication, we had 294. Our road trash cleanup program, they did 106.4 miles and they collected 1,520 bags of trash. So, if y'all have any questions, I can try to answer them, but I'm not going to promise anything.
Questions?
You did a
Sure.
much better job than Josh on that.
I don't know about that. I think everybody knows he has a way with people. But.
Well, we'd be here 45 more minutes.
Okay, well, okay. I'll give you that.
I'll share an observation from visitors from Colorado who were residents here in the late 70s, early 80s. As we drove around today, they actually commended our county for being so clean and neat.
Yeah.
And that is a good thing. And that's often directly because of the work that you guys get done. I wish our citizens were more careful in tossing trash.
Yeah, that is a problem.
It was good to hear that compliment because more often than not, I see the trash and it's not something I feel so good about, but I felt like it was very nice.
Well, that's nice. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
All right,
Good
thank you,
job.
guys.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll have an update on the Springfield Road by Mark Absher, our engineer.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hopefully I can get it to work this time. I'm going to present we're doing a quick update on Springfield, and I'm just going to go through the slides for you here. First part is background. There's some crashes and things that happen along this roadway, and we went to the entire length of the roadway, drove it several times, looked at a lot of the different things going on out there. Mm-hmm. We also pulled crash data from a state database, and we looked at that to kind of see where the clusters were, see what was going on with it. This is kind of one of the most important parts of this whole thing. You'll see we did speed studies. Our Hardin County Road Department went out there and did that, and I really appreciate that they can do that for me. I used to have to do it myself. And You can kind of see here the 85th percentile. It was 53 miles per hour near 3198 Springfield, 48 near 3761 Springfield. And what that tells us, when we're looking at traffic flows, we consider about 15% of the people are going to do whatever they want to do. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you sign. They're just going to do it. And so we try to look at whatever all the speeds were below that point. So the highest in that group was 53. And it's 30 mile an hour posted. A couple of speeds were over 60 miles an hour. And so what this did with the 85th percentile, we've got guidelines that we use, METCD, and that led us actually to add chevrons to this area, looking at the 85th, because based on posted, it was 35 miles an hour. Moving forward, of course, what I just said, we've added chevrons, but we're not done yet. We're moving forward. We've also worked with KYTC on getting roadway safety improvements. This is a federally funded program, and it's an HSIP goal is to prevent fatalities and serious injuries through safety knowledge. They do a lot of educational type of things like that, and so we're working with them. And we're close to getting that approved if we can. And then we've asked them to review the entire length of roadway, which adds more people to look at these things in case there's something that we didn't catch or something. And in the future, what those will do is provide us with more information on safety improvements that they were recommending for that same quarter for Springfield Road. It also provides us with some funding for that improvement, because if they do the review and they make recommendations, then they can grant us money to cover the cost. And of course, it depends on the findings and stuff, but we also plan on working on other roadways as well. We're not going to just stop at Springfield. We're going to continue to look at the different roadways and look at any kind of crash information, stuff like that that we've got. And so we're taking pretty proactive action on this to kind of move forward. But we just want to present this. I think with bits and pieces were coming out what we're doing in the background, and so this is here to present you guys with more information. If you have any questions or anything, try to cover that.
I just want to tell you, great job. You're very proactive on this. I think this came out in the town hall meeting, and you got right on it, and appreciate that.
Thank you.
The information is, shocking, really, the speeds that folks are traveling on that road. I knew it was high, but I didn't realize it was quite high.
Yeah, especially with posted speed limit 35 miles an hour for the entire length, up to you get the city limits.
The facts indicate the risk that people are taking.
Yes.
Which we need to do all we can to get them to be aware and not take those risks. Any time you speed up past the limit, you're taking on additional risk. And we've got to drive that home, especially to young people. And that road is driven by a lot of young people. It's a road that I'm on frequently. My family's on it frequently, and it has some real quirks. So thank you.
You're welcome. It was a big
The
team
residents
effort
are very
too.
appreciative.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I just want to mention again, it was a big team effort. Road department and Charlie and a few others all involved with it. So,
Mark, the fatalities that have happened on that road, is there any data as to what the speed was?
I really want to be careful what I say about the crashes, things like that. But
yeah, is there information though that we could review as to further documentation as to what the speed was?
It's been reported what the speed was for the last fatality on impact. So I'm still kind of getting the details on that too. I want to make sure I present facts and not what I'm kind of hearing through the grapevine and stuff. And there's a report going to come out off of that too. So, but I wish I could just say.
I understand.
But you're still working on this, right? You.
Oh yeah,
On this particular road, you're still you haven't finished yet with your findings and research and all that. How long do you think it'll be before?
I don't know, because that part's kind of out of our control since we're working with KYTC on that. But we did drive their entire length of roadway prior to the 85th percentile report coming up. And we looked at any kind of things that we thought immediately need to be taken care of. But so we're going to kind of combine what they're recommending, and then you might see more stuff out there once they're done with it too, like road shoulder widenings, things like that. Hopefully it all come through their funding. So.
We drove the road the other day, and if you drive 35, you're going to get run over.
Yeah, and that was an observation out there too. With us driving it several times, we had a multitude of cars getting behind us at the speed limit. And sometimes they come up on you so fast, you don't see them in your rearview mirror until they're on you. And so, I mean, the speed data only picks up a percentage, so that's where.
Well, the point I think we all need to take away is government can only do so much. Its individual responsibility and behavior is going to have to be a big, big part of what happens on roads like this road.
And it really is, and that's why the end part was roadway safety involves all of us. It involves what you're doing, what you're paying attention to, how you're driving these roadways. We, as traffic engineers, we see a lot of statistics, and each one of those is somebody. So, and they probably weren't thinking that day or something came up. So.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. I'm excited to have you on board.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I am too. I enjoy it.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. Okay, again, as I mentioned, there's some written reports that is in the packet, and so we'll move on to the next item, which is a time for any citizens' concerns or comments. Do we have anyone that wants to make any comment or anything today? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. The next item, like I said, are ordinances and resolutions. We don't have any of those specifically to vote on today, but we do have quite a few resolutions and other items in the consent agenda. So I'll try to move through these as quickly as I can, but give enough detail that everyone knows what we're voting on. The first three items are all financial, with the financial report, April payroll and registers, and then also our May claims and bills that we needed to pay. And then also I'll skip down and capture item I, which is Resolution 107, related to some financial transfers. So that's all financial matters. The next item, D, which is Resolution 101, that is related to finance personnel changes. And then there's also item J, which is Resolution 108, and that's related to EMS personnel. The next item is, let's see, the next one is regarding our 911 lease. This is Resolution 103, and it's related to the renewing the American Tower Corporation agreement, which is our Eastview Tower. And so we are, this is our radio communication system. This is a 5-year extension. And then there's also attached to that 3 more 5-year optional extensions. The next item is Resolution 104, and this is related to the CLFRF Fiscal Recovery Funds. This is ARPA, and it's House Bill 556, and this application for Detention Center. And this is basically coming from the Department of Corrections. Whenever our inmates, they complete some programs, educational programs, then there's additional funds made available. So these are all budgeted, basically revenue that's coming into the detention center each year, pretty much in line with what was budgeted this current year at about $272,000 at the end of April. And so that will match up pretty close to what we budgeted, and again, what we budgeted for next year too. The next 2 items are IT related. Resolution 105 is related to a contract with eCloud Managed Solutions. This is infrastructure and services. This is an actual renewal of that contract. And the next one's 106, related to iWork software as a service agreement. This is basically adding a fleet management additional package. It's about $2,000 a year for that ability to manage our fleet, meaning all of our any equipment, any of our ambulances, any of the trucks, dump trucks, anything over in the road department, any other types of vehicles that we have. And so we're going to press in on those and make sure that we have a good system in place to maintain all those vehicles appropriately. Next item then, we did I and J, so the next one is Resolution 109. It's related to the allocation of opioid Phase 2 funds going to the coroner's office, and this is for a rapid response officer. And I would actually like to take some time and read a little bit of this resolution. Jenny's not here today, and I was going to see if she wanted to read it, unless you wanted to read it.
Totally up to you, Judge.
Okay, I'll go ahead and just kind of tackle this just a little bit, because I think it's an important resolution for our county. It says resolution number 2024-109. Whereas opioid addiction and other substance uses continue to negatively impact the lives of people in Hardin County. Whereas there were an average of 41 fatal overdose deaths in Hardin County in the last 5 years, and so far in 2024, there have been 24 fatal and 64 non-fatal overdoses in Hardin County in 2024 alone. Whereas in 2017, Hardin County joined as a plaintiff in litigation seeking to recover financial compensation for government services expended as a result of the opioid epidemic. Whereas as a result of the litigation, Hardin County was awarded settlement funds in 2021 to be used to address the effects of addiction to opioids and other substances. Whereas Hardin County designates those funds received from the settlement with wholesale distributors to be Phase 1 opioid settlement funds, and those funds received from the settlement with retail distributors to be Phase 2 opioid settlement funds. Be it therefore resolved upon recommendations of the Emergency Service Committee and consistent with KRS 15.291 that Phase 2 opioid funds be designated and budgeted to the Hardin County Coroner's Office to hire a rapid response officer to assist emergency responders in providing voluntary drug and alcohol treatment opportunities and placement, and be it further resolved that these funds shall be budgeted for the salary, benefits, necessary equipment, and furnishings for full-time or part-time rapid response officer to be hired by the Hardin County Coroner in an amount equal to the actual expenses, but not to exceed $90,000 in fiscal year 2025, and continuing and in an amount as determined by the regular budget process. So that's what this resolution is all about. I'm very hopeful, I know all of us are, that this will have a positive impact in our county as we're dealing with this crisis. The next two items are EMS related. The first one is Resolution 110 related to Dr. Bell as EMS Medical Director. And then the next one is our Resolution 111 related to a bid for EMS data collection, billing, and electronic health information exchange services that we landed on a company called 911 Billing Services and Consultants. The next item, Resolution 112, is related to a bid for inmate communication services and for the Hardin County Detention Center. And the next one is for the Sheriff's Office. This is Resolution 113 related to Homeland Security Law Enforcement Protection Program grant. This is a 100% grant This is for for off-duty weapons, for 9mm guns for all the deputies on off duty. So this will do quite a few things, and I think hopefully we'll be able to get this grant money. It's for about $37,000, I believe. I had a late addition that was an oversight. There's been some discussions about this. This is basically related to an appointment to Water District 1 Board. And so we're going to pull that out of this consent agenda and have some more discussion about that and be able to address that at our next fiscal court meeting. And then finally, the last 4 items are committee meeting minutes for the Public Works, Emergency Services, Resource and Community Support, and Finance Committee minutes all this month in May. I think that covers everything. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
So moved.
Okay, I heard Mr. Clem over there. And who over here? Okay, second over here, Kenny Muse. Any discussion?
Judge, I'd like to discuss item K, the resolution discussing the opioid funds. I just wanted to give a shout out and a thank you to the coroner, Pat and Shayna, and everybody on the team. I know there's a team of department heads, people that were, I guess, the opioid fund team that was kind of looking out the best use. And I think it's very important to know that, you know, besides their normal duties, they're sitting here trying to find solutions to problems that are happening in our county. And I think that's really important to acknowledge them and everything that they do. So thank you all. Thank you, Pat.
Amen to that. Anybody else?
On that same note, also the recovery readiness community that was just accredited to Hardin County, that was one of the items, that was one of the things that they suggested that we could add to Hardin County. So I'm glad to see that that's going to be taken care of also. So just bring that out.
All right, thank you. Yeah, good point.
I want to add to Aaron's comments, also our court system in the county. We've got a court system that has been proactive for many, many years on getting ahead and trying to deal with the addiction in this community. And I can't commend them enough as well. Jenny has been our county attorney. This has been something that she has really had a passion for quite a while, and our judges. And if any of you ever attend the drug court and stuff, you'll see the result, positive result of their actions. And so I just wanted to give them a shout out as well.
Thank you. Very much deserved, that's for sure. Anybody else?
I did want to add one more thing and just kind of highlight the importance of this. You know, this is to hopefully curb the addiction and, you know, help find people some treatment, and to look at the ages. They presented data, just the astounding ages, the difference. You know, it's not 20-year-olds, it's not 30-year-olds. There's young folks that are in school that are dealing with this, and I think it's very important that we, you know, get ahead of the game, because we don't want to see them in the coroner's office for other reasons.
Exactly right, Aaron. I was shocked to see the young ages of those that have attempted or had an accidental overdose, whichever way you want to look at it. That's exactly right. It's heartbreaking what's going on.
Anyone else? Okay, no more discussion. Then let's have roll call, please.
Squire Clem?
Yes.
Squire Hicks?
Yeah.
Squire Muse?
Yes.
Squire Pennington?
Yes.
Squire Saltzman?
Yes.
Squire Thompson?
Yes.
Squire Whitehead?
Yes.
Squire Yates?
Yes.
Judge Tall?
Yes, motion passes. All right, let's move on then to our comments. How about from the county attorney's office? Any comment?
No comment, Judge.
All right, thank you. County clerk.
Yes, thank you. We had a smooth and well-run election this last primary. There were 7,923 voters who cast their ballots in the primary. That represents 9% of our registered voters. Now, if you factor out the 11,778 who didn't have an eligible ballot because they're registered independents or third parties, that's still only 10.04% of the population who voted. One of the lowest turnouts, and it's lower than any other county that touches us, and one of the lowest in the state. So that was our election. Do have some thank yous for the election. It takes an enormous amount of manpower to pull off an election, whether there's only 7,000 people who will vote or 70,000. I want to thank the poll workers who gave up and worked a long day. It is a very, very long day for them. They start an hour before the polls open to get ready for the voters. I want to thank my staff who also work a series of long days. Early voting may only happen during business hours, but those are also very long days for our staff. It takes an enormous amount of resources that we put together to make that successful. I want to thank our jailer. He's not here, but we use inmate labor to help deliver and collect election equipment. That saves us thousands of dollars as a county, and I don't think we could competently do it otherwise. I want to thank Hardin County Schools and E-Town Independent Schools. They're great partners with us in using their facilities and delivering and collecting equipment. The schools are just, quite frankly, the most accessible buildings in our community in terms of folks with mobility issues and other disabilities, and so they make great partners in elections. We added, for the first time since the pandemic, we voted also at Glendale Christian Church, and so we want to thank them. They were just overwhelmed. They welcomed us with open arms. We also voted the 84th Fire Department, so we appreciate those folks who, that's not their job, but they help and get prepared for the election. Finally, my fellow members of the Board of Elections, John Ward, our sheriff, and his team of deputies are out patrolling in areas so that if we ever have an incident at a polling location, and knock wood, we won't have a serious one, they have somebody nearby that can provide assistance. And so thank you, John, for what you do. You're a great partner. We also want to thank Becky Rawlings and Mike Phillips, who also serve on that board. They do a tremendous amount of work in making sure the elections run smoothly. So thank you all.
All right. Is that it?
That's all I have.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. We'll move on then. Magistrate Chris Yates.
The only thing I have, Judge, is our next Emergency Service Committee meeting will be Monday, June 10th at 3:30 p.m.
Thank you. Magistrate Saltzman.
Judge, the only thing I have, I did not get a chance to get out there in the crowd and talk yet, but I'm going to afterwards. But I want to thank all these scout leaders that are out here in the crowd and all these scouts that came out to watch their county government in action. And I thank you, scout leaders, for bringing them out and giving them this opportunity to be here to see how their government works. Thank you. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you. Magistrate Whitehead.
Yes, it's the Boy Scouts, Pack 488 out of Radcliffe. Thank you so much for joining us today. And Debbie Merriman, thank you for what you do in leading these young scouts. You do an awesome job. And welcome. I hope you can take away something today. If not just the experience of being here in a courtroom where important decisions are made. But welcome today, and thanks for being here. Also, I just want to mention Memorial Day, and just to give tribute to those that have made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms. I feel compelled to mention that. And speaking of those who make sacrifices, I cannot praise our line workers enough for what they do. You know, this recent storm was a perfect example of heroes that we have in Hardin County. I don't know Nolan RECC. I know KU and had a lot of outages. I know in particular Nolan had 4,177 outages. And within a day and a half, all those members were restored. Their power was restored. And I was laying in bed at the night of the storm, and 2:38 a.m., my TV started sounding off. And I thought, you know, those guys and women are out there day and night to restore our power. They work 16 hours straight, and then, of course, they have to have breaks for safety reasons, but they don't go home until we have our power. And I just want to give Nolan and KU a shout out for what they do for all of us. And then a reminder that the next Resources and Community Support Committee meeting is June 17th at 3:30. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Magistrate Clem.
I too want to commend the scouts for being here today, and I have really fond memories many moons ago being a scout and a scoutmaster, and I really appreciate the scouting program. Also, I want to maybe speak to what Brian brought up just for a minute, because I think it's very, very important. Yesterday was Memorial Day, and we paused to remember those that gave the ultimate sacrifice for this nation. And they also, for the freedom of this country, for the citizens of this country, to go to the polls and vote. It's not about how many people that are listed on the ballot. That's not the important part of it. It's important, but not the key part. The key part is you have a right to vote. So many people in the world do not have that right. I still remember the people in Iraq who got their first privilege to vote, and they had to put purple ink on their fingers that's their identification to vote. And some of them were actually shot and killed in line, standing in line to vote. And yet, Hardin County, 9% of the citizens show up to vote. That's embarrassing for a county. We're better than that. Brian, I commend you for everything. I know you push it, and you push it, and you push it. But the people in this community is going to have to take it more seriously. And just wanted to get that out.
Can I share one thing in response? I shared your sentiment 100%. I had the opportunity this week to speak to JT Alton Middle School. This school is stepping on the gas when it comes to teaching civics. 100% of their 8th grade class met their civics requirements. 100%. So I have hope in the future.
Nothing. Well said. Also, I want to remind folks that the next Finance Committee meeting is June the 18th, 3:30 across the hall. Please don't drink and drive, and don't text and drive.
All right, thank you. Magistrate Pennington.
I think those have gone before me have said enough, and I would like to replicate their sentiments, and I agree with you, Fred, that it's almost shameful that we don't exercise the rights that people have sacrificed for. I think, I know it's at no effort or no issues from Brian and his team trying to get it out there. It's just a lack of showing up. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So.
All right. Thank you. Magistrate Thompson.
Another illustration of individual responsibility. Take it upon yourself to do the right thing, and voting is so important. I want to challenge scouts, when you're the age that you can register to vote, register to vote as early as possible. Begin with the very first election that you can participate in, and make it a goal to never miss voting, because you that way will have some impact on the government of our local community, our state, and our nation. And without voting, you have made a little investment in it. So invest in your future and prepare yourselves to be ready to vote. It's a challenge to you, Scouts. And also, we'd just like to thank our community for making the Glendale Spring Fest a huge success. It was much more laid back than the October Glendale. There's a Spring Fest and there's a Glendale Crossing Days. The Crossing Days a lot more intense, multiplied in numbers by about 10 maybe, to the Spring Fest. But it was a great time, anybody who was there had to have enjoyed it. It was just a delightful day, and you were able to take in that little rural village, which still remains a rural village, even alongside the huge industrial development out there. We're going to be able to, I think, move forward and make the best of our circumstances. We appreciate everybody keeping us, as residents of that area, in your thoughts and helping to make it as positive as possible for our community, our county, and our state. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Magistrate Hicks.
I just want to mention Memorial Day weekend, yesterday, what Fred said. You know, I think people just kind of takes this for granted. They don't realize what people gave their lives for, what family gave their loved ones for. And if they would realize how important that day was, I think we would see a lot more people voting. 9%, it's terrible. Hardin County and the United States ought to do a whole lot better than what they're doing. I mean, if we love this freedom, if we love the freedom that all these people gave, I have lost several friends in Vietnam, that gave up their life for this. And people stay home. They won't take advantage of the freedom they've got. And I hope we wake up as Americans. I hope we wake up as people in Hardin County and stand up and, you hear people complain all the time. I hear people all day long, every day, talking about how bad everything is. Then I asked them, did you go vote? No, I don't see no sense in it. I said, shame on you. There's thousands and thousands of soldiers, male and female, that gave their life for your freedom to do that. And it just breaks my heart.
Thank you. Magistrate Hughes.
I would echo Larry's comments. And our next Public Works Committee meeting is June the 14th. It's on a different day of the week. It's Friday, 3:30. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, just a reminder, typical reminder, the next fiscal court meeting is Tuesday, June 11th, 2024 at 3:30 in the afternoon. And I did mention seeing all of the scouts. As far as I know, since I've been in office, I don't think any other scouts have been here. So anyway, it's been great to just look out here and see. Okay. That's right. I do remember that. Okay. Yeah.
Shh, don't tell everybody.
Yeah, that's a secret. Yes, Sheriff. Yeah, that'd be great. We can do that. I'll tell you what, hold on just a second. Hold on just one moment. Let me go ahead and adjourn the meeting, and then we'll take the picture, okay? All right, so is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, did you catch those? All right. Any objections? Hearing none, meeting is adjourned.